wherever you are this morning, we just want to give honor unto God. We want to give Him our songs of worship. For we live and move and have our being because of Him. In all that we do, in all that we have, pleasing God first is very key and very important. So this morning I want you to join us as we give worship unto the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Father, we honor your name, oh God. We bless your name. Oh glorious God, we praise your name. We lay our crowns and worship you. Oh glorious God, we praise your name. We lay our crowns and worship you. Oh, be lifted above all other gods. We lay our crowns and worship you. Let's do it again. Oh, be lifted above all other gods. We lay our crowns and worship. Wherever you are, join us. Oh, glorious God. Oh, glorious God. We praise your name, oh God. Oh, glorious God, we live. Oh, glorious God, we praise your name, oh God. We lay our crowns and worship. We lay our crowns, hallelujah, and worship. We lay our crowns, Lord, everything that we are, we lay. You made us who we are, Lord, and worship you, Lord, Messiah. Join us wherever you are. We lay, oh, and worship you. We lay our crowns, yeah, and worship you. Casting crowns, lifting hands, bowing hearts, it's all we've come to do. Casting crowns, lifting hands, hallelujah, bowing hearts, oh Lord, it's all we've come to do. Adonai, we say, Adonai, Adonai, yeah, Adonai, Adonai, you are, oh Adonai, Soko Rabasayele Kosada. Adonai, you reign on high. Wanna sing it for the last time? We will rise in the midst of it all in your name. No matter the circumstance, Adonai, you reign and rule over all. You reign on high. Hey, we will rise in the name of Yahweh. Oh, Adonai, you reign on high. Hallelujah. Mi je oyi, mi nyumo makamfubo, Jehovah my church, mi shafole abo. Anyonyam sabo, amen, amen. So this morning we want you to join us as we sing Afole, giving our lives as a living sacrifice unto the Lord. Hallelujah. So the song says, Mi je o mi nyumo makamfubo Jehovah manche mi shafole abo anyonyam sabo. Amen, amen. Anyonyam sabo. Amen, amen. Mi je oyi, mi nyumoye makafubo Jehovah manche mi shafole abo anyonyam sabo. Amen, amen. Anyonyam sabo. Amen. And then the part that I love so much, he says, shafole abo. You say, amen, amen. Make me trife, shafole abo. We give ourselves as a living sacrifice, Lord. Amen, amen. Make me trife, shafole abo.
I'm Jennifer Ajaman, corporate trainer and life coach. Keep watching Breakfast Daily only on City TV.
Open it high now, open it low, low, low. Hey, hey, make a pause for a minute. I bet it was no, no, no. Hey, and up, hey, open the bang bang. Every year open the bang bang. And I just so bang bang. Oh, hello, this is the CDM, the choir master prior Honey Ho. Ting ting mayor.
Cartel Big J, you can call me Prior Titia, and you're watching Breakfast Daily. Straight up
on City TV.
Midday, I'm in bed, no parking. Cheer me good loving, midday I'm in bed, no barking. Cheer me good loving. What's up, guys? Always keep it down on the Breakfast Daily Show on City TV. Don't change that. It's now Belvy.
Good morning and welcome
Good
to
morning.
Breakfast Daily on City TV.
It's a beautiful Monday morning.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. Hope you had a great weekend. We're glad to be here. We're going to be hosting you all week long. Today is the beginning of a beautiful new week, 18th of May, and you're welcome to Breakfast Daily. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Jifa Ekia Amatam, and of course it's an interactive show. So wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. Just use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear what you're thinking.
Yes, and we also have a WhatsApp line. It's 0550585832. Do prefix that with +233 if you're outside Ghana.
Yes, and every morning we start the show off with our quote of the day. So we'll take a look at our quote this morning.
So the quote of the day today comes from Brian Tracy, who is an author and a motivational speaker. He says, develop an attitude of gratitude and give thanks for everything that happens to you, knowing that every step forward is a step towards achieving something bigger and better than your current situation. Every step forward is a step towards achieving something bigger and better than your current situation.
I think it's important. I mean, gratitude is something that we don't practice enough of. We take the things we have for granted because we're always looking for more, right? But if you have a mindset of being thankful for all the things that you do have and how far you've come to get to where you are, then you'll be motivated to get more things out of life.
Yeah. You know, Jiva, also one of the things that I realize is that everything that you're grateful for, you get more of, right? So I learned a few months ago how important it is to even be grateful for the fact that even your legs work. How many of us say thank you for the fact that our legs work?
Yeah.
You know, our hands work, our heart works. How many of us are grateful for those things? We take it for granted, you know. I think it's so important for all of us to bear this in mind, that whatever you have that is working without you thinking about it is something you need to be grateful for, because as soon as it stops working, you get to notice it.
Yes, I completely agree. And of course, during the weekend, we had some great news. Our recoveries are currently at 1,754. So I was wondering how people are embracing this new reality, thinking that we're going to continue maintaining social distancing, doing all we can to ensure that we don't get coronavirus. But this morning, on my way to work, I saw people just acting like everything is business as usual. As you can see there, these young men jumping onto the back of the truck and just living their best lives. No social distancing at all whatsoever. And I'm wondering, is it because they feel as though we've won the battle against COVID-19 because we've recorded such high numbers of recoveries that they've let their guards down and they think that everything is fine? Because clearly this is danger zone right there. This is recipe for disaster. If one person is positive amongst them, they will all probably get it.
You know, it just reminds me of an experience I also had yesterday. One lady who she sells food, you know, and she says, look, if our numbers are 1,753 and these are truly the ones that are recovered, then there's no more coronavirus. That's exactly how she said it. So then there's no more coronavirus. Why are we making such a big deal about it? You know, and I think it's important to remember that we are not out of the woods yet. We may be seeing good signs and all that. And you know, the number 1,753 simply means that we are, you know, I was talking about this thing where we were initially at 10% of recovery. Our recovery rate was 10%. Then it jumped to 12%, you know, when numbers started becoming better. But now it's gone to 30%. So 30% literally means that we are just under the African average of recovery, you know, which means it's a good place. And the global average is about 37%, you know. So it's very, very good news. But unfortunately, what this is doing for some people is to suggest to them that then all troubles have blown over,
Yeah.
you know, and everything is good, and we can do whatever we like now.
And I think we need to put our policemen out there now. You know, we need to find people who are not respecting social distancing. I mean, in New York State, for instance, at some point, they were fining people up to $1,000
Yeah.
if you don't respect social distancing, you know, because that is really where the problem is. I could be positive and I won't spread it to anyone else, but if I'm, you know, reckless and I'm
Yeah.
moving about touching people, then it's dangerous. You know, we have 29 people who have passed away.
Yeah.
Now, we can't afford to get more people dying. A nurse died over the weekend
Yeah.
from COVID-19.
Yeah.
She contracted it on May 6th, and, you know,
then
in less
couple
than
of
a week,
weeks,
she
yeah.
passed away. And we can't continue to put the lives of health workers at risk because they can't afford to say, we are not going to treat you.
Yeah.
So the best we can all do is ensure we don't catch it so that we don't expose our selfless health workers to this pandemic.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is that they are in the front line. They, like you said, you can't say, I'm staying at home, you know. We did talk to some people also to hear their opinions and their voices in terms of what they think of the current numbers. So maybe we should take a look at that and then we'll continue the conversation.
Let's do that.
All right, so once we wait for that, the situation with the death rate, I've been looking at the numbers, and I see right now we have about 5 people also in critical condition. It looks as though the way the critical condition is, this is where most of the deaths come from. People don't jump from mild condition straight into, you know, add to the death number. So let's take a look at that conversation, the vox pops there, and then we'll continue.
Okay, go ahead. What are your thoughts on the number of recoveries?
I think we are making a headway because looking at our recovery rates, since things are getting better.
Does that make you feel good, or you're
Not all that good. That means we must still adhere to the protocols.
The recovery, the way it was from the beginning, is not that low again. The number is increasing, and that's a good news. And the only thing I have to say, the kind of measures that the government is putting in place for us to be safe, or for the country to be safe, is a good thing they are doing. But for the lifting of ban and all that, I'm sure if they keep maintaining the way they are doing it now till maybe at least 2 or 3 months, I hope things will be better.
They should lift ban on the churches and the bars for us to operate, because now the recovery are getting more than the numbers that we are getting from you getting the virus. Yeah, so the recovery are getting more. So I think it's better that they lift the ban on the churches and the bars so that we can operate, because right now job is not going on well for us. We will come to work, things are not moving well because people are afraid to come out. Once the recoveries are being, discovered that they are okay, the numbers are increasing. That means we are.
All right, so there you have it. Very interesting comments that people are making there. The barber there, he says that the numbers of recovery are more, you know, but he still feels that at least if the ban is lifted, the implementation of things like hand washing and social distancing and so on should still be maintained.
Yeah.
So
and I think the most important thing we're all trying to say is, let's not let our guard down, right? Just because the numbers have improved does not mean we should take it for granted and begin acting like life as usual. We don't have the health ecosystem to take care of all of us if the numbers go up. So let's still maintain everything, and before you know it, we'll be back to normal.
Yeah. So we have some wonderful guests in the studio.
Yes, we'll be talking about adoption, foster care, what you need to know about the whole ecosystem and how we can engage it better. And we have 2 guests joining us this morning. Of course, throughout our conversation with them, if you have any questions for them, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 05505858832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. We have been joined by Samuel Anaglate. He's the head of Foster Care Service Unit at the Department of Social Welfare, as well as Abena Dufie Akono, Atta, who is the head of Care Reforms Initiatives at the Department of Social Welfare. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Fine. We're doing good.
Thank you so much for being with us. I think I'll start with you, Samuel. Can you tell us a bit about the current state of our foster care system, what is wrong with it, and how we can all begin to look critically at reforming it?
Okay, I must say, so far so good. You know, our foster care system, provisions have been made for foster care in Ghana, I think since 1998. Our Children's Act makes provision for that. But then, for some reason, there has been over-reliance on residential care. So quite recently, we had to revamp the system. And that is how we set up the foster care services unit. And so far, we have over 400 foster parents and over 130 children in foster care.
When you say residential, refer to residential system, what does that mean, and what's the alternative?
Residential care is where children are kept in residence, like residential homes, orphanages, and children's homes. That is what used to be, children used to be taken to residential homes instead of placing them with families.
Okay.
And then there have been research, a lot of research have proved that children who grew up in residential homes don't do well like those who grew up
within a family
with families.
Okay.
So we decided that we are going to emphasize the use of family-based care systems like the kinship care, the foster care, and the like.
Okay.
Abena, how, looking at the way our culture is set up, how easy is it going to be to get people to foster children that are not their own biological children?
I think first it's more of the awareness. And as we all know, for Ghana, we believe in our extended family system. People do, and that's what we call the kinship care. That's a bit informal. Let's say you have your sister's child and your sister has passed on, you just take on to that child. So right now we are moving towards the formal care system, foster care system. That's a formalized way. So it's more of awareness creation, and first of all, you need to be committed and dedicated because we want these children to grow in loving, caring, stable environment. So first of all, we've been doing it, just that we've been doing it in an informal way. So right now, we just want people to come on board to understand. As it stands, there's no token, there's no salary towards it. So you should be passionate about caring for the needs of others, and then you are on board.
Okay, why is it important to make the whole process formal? And talk to us a bit about the deinstitutionalization of it and why that's important as well.
Okay, so first let me talk about the deinstitutionalization. What that seeks is to take children from our institutionalized care, like what we have, like our orphanages, what we call orphanages, but we call the residential homes for children, our shelters, our foster homes. Some of the homes they've been given it names. These places are supposed to be emergency care. Let's say the child, you find an abandoned child. Instantly, the social worker cannot send that child to his or her home. So you need a safety place. So you first have to send a child to, let's say, you might have to send a child to, let's say, these orphanages or these residential homes. But that place should be the last resort, yes. So in this case, as you try to do the follow-up, the tracing, ask the child a few questions, and then you find out the background of the child. Then you do that of the tracing. You speak to the family, and if they are willing to accept the child goes into the family system or with a relative, that's the kinship. So the other question that you asked about, the other question, please.
Yes, what's the process like for actually ensuring that we track it well? So you find the child, you put them in a home, you formalize the whole thing. How do we ensure that that is also sustainable and that the next day you won't find the child wandering about?
Okay. So,
you can.
Yes, so the reason why we call it formal is that, you know, I'm sure for some reason you've taken care of your brother or your sister's child, and we do it a lot in our homes. We encourage that to go on a lot. But now we're deciding that there are a lot of people out there who have spaces in their home and still have love to give to children. But unfortunately, they don't have any child to care for. And we have a lot of children on the street. So why don't we recruit such people? So we give them training and then license them. And then we place the children with them. We don't leave them to go picking up children. And the reason we place the children with them is that there are a lot of investigations we have to do around the child. And when we place the child, we know the kind of problem the child is bringing to you, so that we can be able to track all those things. And whenever you have a problem, we come around to help. And that is why we're making it formal. So we visit you, we monitor the progress of care and everything. So
But won't all this lead to a closure of the foster care system, the foster homes, the orphanages we've gone to?
Okay, so the idea is that we want to reduce the number of children in orphanages as much as possible, and then reduce the number of orphanages we have. Because orphanages are supposed to be temporary care. So the child is found on the streets. Immediately, there's nowhere to place the child. You can't take the child home as a social worker. So you have to place the child in a residential home somewhere. For maximum, the law says 6 months. So within 3 months, you should have done your necessary investigations and removed the child from there. Either the child goes into residential home, or by then you would have been sure that this child will have to go into adoption. And then you make their recommendations.
What would you say are some of the successes that you've seen so far in terms of children actually going into homes, in the family setup?
There are a lot of it, but then let me just mention a few. So recently we visited Kumasi, and we visited some of these families. There was this child, a girl, who was removed from a residential home into foster care. And when the girl was taken from, she had a problem. She couldn't walk. She sits on the floor like that. Within 6 months, she's back on her feet, and you won't see any sign that she ever had a broken leg or so. And this was done solely by the foster carer. This girl would have been in the residential home and probably grow with the condition. We are not saying residential homes are bad, but then we've also realized that the number of children in residential home, care is not as much as one-on-one care. So let's just picture it this way. Imagine you have over 20 children to care for as a couple. Let's take it that you are a couple, as a couple. I'm sure when there are things happening to something happening to one child, you may not be able to realize it. Unlike when the child is with you alone, you have conversations with the child tells you his or her problems. And it's even easier and less expensive, like we would have done in residential home. I think this is one. And then there was another child who was severely sick, in fact, looking so malnourished. Within 2 months, the child is fine. And if you see the pictures, you'll be so surprised.
But I'll wrap all this up for us. What can we do as a society to make this process happen? From the perspective of the stakeholders, people looking to adopt, how can we help with the work that you're doing?
Okay, so we all have to embrace foster care services. If you have a couple, like there's a couple that you feel you want to help, in as much as you can reach out to children in residential homes, you can also look into your own society, your communities. There could be a child who is a needy child with a mother and a father. We can extend love and care to those children. So they could be with their own biological parents, but we could also help them. And then for the benefits that Sammy said, there are a whole lot. When it comes to the speech, the children's speech are improved. Their physical growth, they are able to grow well when they live with their own families or in a family setup. And as we all know, God instituted marriage, and through marriage, we have the families, which is the foundation of our society. So we encourage every child to be with a family and not in residential homes. And if the child has to be in the residential home, it should be the last resort, and it should be a temporary one.
Thank you
very much. Yeah, thank you very much. So we've been speaking with Abena Dufie Akonu Atta, who's the head of Care Reform Initiative and the Department of Social Welfare, and also to Samuel Anaglate, who is the head of Foster Care Services Unit at the Department of Social Welfare. Well, up next is News Review. Don't go anywhere. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Chifa Ipia Amatam. We'll be right back.
extra data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. You fill up, simply dial *111# to bundle now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
$76,000 only to buy you a studio apartment in Accra. Why not come to Weli for a spacious 2-bedroom apartment at Alphabet City, our brand new gated community situated right on top of the serene Sakomano Lagoon. Feeling like splashing a little? Check out our exclusive all-detached house gated community, the Jaden Symphonic next door. Sizes range from cozy 3 bedrooms to luxurious 5 bedrooms. We at Weli are committed to provide you with the best building quality and value for money. In fact, we are the proud recipient of 2019's Quality Property Firm Award. We are offering discount up to 5% on Linjadin Symphony or 10% on Alphabet City, who makes a commitment in December. Call us now at 0240-111119 or 0504-499999 to secure your dream home now.
Ghana is a beautiful country. There is so much of it you probably haven't seen, haven't experienced, haven't touched, haven't felt, haven't eaten. When this is all over, let's discover our land again with new eyes. Let's feel each other again. We are one people, brought together by destiny. Let's make that count. Let's show love for each other and our environment. Let's tell our stories, and let's watch and listen to our stories. There will be so much to tell. Ghana is a truly beautiful country. Be Ghana, stay in Ghana, experience Ghana, make Ghana great. And we will invite the world to come and experience Ghana too. But for now, stay home. Brought to you by the National Film Authority. Support the Stay Home and Discover Ghana Later campaign. This channel supports the campaign.
God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on CCTV. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll take a look at our newspaper headlines, then some online stories, and then we'll introduce our guests who are already seated here with us. Let's start off with the Ghanaian Times. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we have COVID-19 vaccine must be freely available to all. That's coming from the president, and that story is on page 12. Ghana's COVID-19 recovery rises to 1,754 cases. So that's really great. 1,754 people have recovered. And of course, the case count stands at 5,735. That story is on page 13. And we'll be taking a look at that shortly. 2 suspected armed robbers gunned down, another arrested. That story is on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times. We'll take a look at the Custodian. On the front page of the Custodian, we have Stop Peddling on Truths. EC, NIA, fire NDC, and that story is on page 2. Tamale Village invents tippy tap to avert COVID-19. That story is on page 4 of the Custodian. Africa will escape massive death toll from COVID-19. That's coming from the World Health Organization, and that story is on page 2. Finally, Ahofado fulfills one more promise. 44-year-old abandoned Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital Maternity and Children's Block restarted. That story is on page 3 of the Custodian. We'll now take a look at the Daily Graphic. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, it has here, stigmatization, frightening danger. That's coming from the GHS, that's the Ghana Health Service, and they commit to ending the obstacle that has to do with people that are stigmatizing those who have COVID-19, and that story is on page 3. Access Bank supports less privilege. That story is on page 53. We'll now take a look at the Finder. Abandoned for 44 years, President Akufo-Addo moves to complete 750-bed building for Comfort Anoche Teaching Hospital. That story is on page 2. BOG to bridge budget financing gap with 10 billion Ghana cedis. And of course, you can see more stories here. Successful simulation at Tema Port paves way for ICUMS takeoff. That story is on page 4. Ghana records $936.4 million trade surplus. That story is on page 2 of the Finder. We'll take a look now at our final newspaper, and then we'll go on to some online stories talking about the new crusading guide. New voters register blues, attack on EC needless, says Peace Council. And of course, you can get all the other stories in the new crusading guide. We'll now go on to our online stories. I'll be reading from citynewsroom.com first, and then we'll go on to City Business News, and then we'll take a look at some more local news and then some international news. So on citynewsroom.com, we have prioritize health issues in your campaign, CDD to political parties. COVID-19, Parliament considers use of public gallery by MPs during sit-ins. About 94,000 private school teachers unpaid due to COVID-19. It's coming from the Private Schools Association. Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences rejects public universities bill. We'll be taking a look at that story shortly as well. I have not advocated for children to marry at age 16. That's coming from Honorable Muntaka. We'll now go on to some business news from citybusinessnews.com. Professor Quartey backs BOG's 10 billion Ghana cedi financing for government's 2020 budget. World Trade Organization has a leadership vacuum, and Africa may just have the candidates to fill it. No positive COVID-19 case recorded in Ghana's upstream sector. That's coming from the Petroleum Commission. Bank of Ghana's index indicates economic decline due to COVID-19. Primary reserve requirements reduced to 6% to provide liquidity to SDI. We'll now take some more local news from myjoyonline.com. Judgment in NCA case not supported by evidence. We'll now go on to some global news from bbcnews.com. Coronavirus, South Africans in massive queues for food parcels. Of course, you can get all of your news from citynewsroom.com and all of your business news from citybusinessnews.com. And for all your COVID-19 updates, you can go on to www.citynewsroom.com/coronavirus. Okay, now throughout the news review, you want to hear from you. So wherever you're watching us from, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear from you. And if you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. I have been joined by Elvis Darko, who's the editor of The Finder. Good morning, Elvis.
Good morning.
How are you?
By His grace, I'm fine.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We've also been joined by lawyer Kwame Jantwa, who is a very high member of the CPP.
Hi.
No? And of course, he's also the former vice chair of PIAC. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. How was your weekend?
Good. How have you been?
I'm very well.
Good. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
we thank God
for being with us. Okay, so we'll take a look at our very first story here. I'll be reading from the Ghanaian Times, and on the front page, well, we'll take it from page 13 of the Ghanaian Times. COVID-19 recovery rises to 1,754. Okay, so it says here, COVID-19, Ghana's recovery nearly tripled from 674 to 1,754 over the weekend, as 1,080 additional patients were declared free of the virus by the Ghana Health Service. An extra 205 infections were also recorded in the country during the same period, shooting the case count to 5,735, while the associated deaths rose to 29 following the demise of 5 more patients. So start with you, Lawyer Jantua, on this. The case recoveries have now gone up from 674 last week to 1,754. How does that make you feel?
Well, good morning to you again. Good morning to our viewers. Chifa, I would have loved it if we could probably show some of these people who have recovered.
Okay.
But unfortunately, stigmatization would not allow us to do that. And that is very unfortunate. Because in the same vein, we talk about those who have died from it, and we even mention their names. On the recovery side, we're not doing anything like that. So I would wish that we can do that so that people will see the reality of what is happening. It's a good thing, it's jumped. It goes to show that the process of testing, when the president indicated that we've ended the backlog and we are now into new infections, shows that work has been done. So, not much I can say. I think it's a good thing, and let's hope we get to a point where recoveries now match infections. Then we can say we are over the peak, but it's good.
Okay, thank you.
Because I believe that, you know, those who, and I don't really like it when they say, oh, we have a small number of deaths.
Yeah, there's even one person.
One
One person is enough.
And I wouldn't want, you know, the Minister of Health comes and he says, death rate is very small. Losing one person in a family affects nearly 10 people. So I would hope they would desist from saying that kind of thing. But all in all, it's good.
Okay, thank you. Elvis, what do you make of this, you know, new recoveries that we've been able to achieve, and what does that mean for our fight against COVID-19? Is the worst over?
Well, let me start from where lawyer mentioned about recovered patients talking to the public. I think the stigmatization is making it for people not to talk. Because I remember that the first person who got the disease or something came public and talked about it.
Yeah.
He said he's where he stays now. Everybody doesn't want to do anything. If the wife goes to buy, they say they won't sell to her.
Yeah. I mean,
Even he took his car to the mechanic. The mechanic said he will no longer work on his car because he's a recovered patient. But then he asked a very important question that I think we must all ask ourselves. He says, for me and my family, we know our status. What about you? You, the one stigmatizing me. Do you know your status? And if you don't know your status, do you know the implication of not knowing your status? So I think that the stigmatization is something that we should stop. COVID is just any other disease. As we speak, COVID has claimed 29 lives. Meningitis, which is not a global crisis, but in just up north, has claimed over 60 lives. The people who have been to hospital in the first quarter with malaria far exceeds have been affected with COVID. So this stigmatization because somebody had COVID, you want to stigmatize the person. It's neither here nor there. We have to stop the stigmatization. If not, recovered people will not feel comfortable coming out to speak. So I'm appealing to the general public that COVID is not different from any other disease that we all suffer in one way or the other. So if you will not stigmatize somebody who has malaria, there's no reason for you to stigmatize somebody who has what? COVID. In terms of the recoveries, I must say that it's good news because, as I've always said, when we fall sick, the expectation is that we will heal and continue to live with our loved ones. So when people fall sick and they heal, for me, it is good news. And I expect that the number could even go beyond 3,000 by the end of this week. Because most of the people that we are talking about, they are hitting like their 3rd week in isolation, in treatment. And many of them have had their first negative test. And Ghana Health Service says you must have 2 consecutive negative tests for you to be discharged. And I believe that this week, many of them will get the results of their 2nd negative test and they will be discharged to go home. And I hope and pray that the numbers that will be going home will be higher, so that we can realize that the disease is not different from malaria, or it's not different from cholera or any other disease, that people will get it. The prayer and hope should be that they get healed and come back to us, then we live together again. So the recoveries are encouraging, and I hope that we have more recoveries. But once they are recovering, we should know that new cases will be recorded on a daily basis. But the more recoveries that we make will give us a balance to know that if the rate of infections are going down and recoveries are becoming higher, then we will then consider we are having some form of control over the disease.
Does this mean the worst is over?
If we stick by the protocols and we are able to make sure that new infections reduce drastically, then we can say it is contained and we can manage it. In Germany, where they opened up and their figures almost tripled, they still went ahead and had their football matches over the weekend because they believe that COVID globally now is virtually letting us understand that this is going to be something that is going to be with us for a while. Because if you look at the global figures, if you read what the experts are saying, we are even more too apprehensive if you look at the figures now.
Okay.
Because we are saying that there are many people who have the disease that we don't even know that they have it.
Yeah.
So if we are talking about the deaths, which are unfortunate, so long as we are not testing everybody to know the number of people who have it, if we are just focusing on the positives and people who are dying, then we are actually not having a proper denominator to be able to have a better picture of the situation. But even with the deaths and the situations now, it is turning out that many people are dying because they already have underlying health conditions. And if you look at the Ghana case, for instance, as at Friday, the people who had died were 28. Out of the 28, it's only 3 who died without any underlying health condition. It meant that the remaining 25 who died actually have other underlying conditions released by Ghana Health Service. So you realize that once we are afraid of COVID, there are other health conditions we are already living with that are as equally dangerous as COVID.
But what does this say about our ability to manage these pre-existing health conditions? Because some of these conditions are not death sentences. You should be able to manage it well enough to heal.
Of course, but it's all about what kind of healthcare system do we have and how do we even prioritize our healthcare?
Okay.
How many of us in Ghana have our own private healthcare insurance? Largely, the majority of Ghanaians are relying on the national health insurance. And some of these conditions, they are not even covered by the national health insurance. So if you can't foot the bills from your own pocket, then you may have it, but managing it becomes difficult. And that is why you see a lot of people dying in the advanced countries. Many of their citizens are living with some of these conditions, but because of the quality of the healthcare system and the fact that they are able to provide for their own health insurance, they are able to manage some of these diseases that will kill somebody in Ghana in 5 years. Somebody can live with it for 20 years in the US or in the UK because the person is out earning enough to be able to have a good healthcare insurance that takes care of the management of the disease. So it all comes back to how we as individuals pay attention to our healthcare. What is our economic ability to be able to take care of some of these underlying conditions. And for me, that is very important. So the last time the president spoke, he said there are certain diseases like hypertension and asthma, which we have really not paid the kind of attention we should. We have realized that through COVID, these are conditions that deserve greater attention, and that from now, the country Ghana will pay more attention to these things. So I think that Ghana, for the current situation, if we don't see a spike in new cases and we have larger recoveries, then we can say that virtually we are having a hold over the disease. And if we are able to have that hold and public abide by wearing of mask, washing of hands, distancing ourselves, then we are going to have this ability to say we're having a certain control. The challenge I see is the education, which is not optional. How do we have our schools which have 50, 60 pupils in the class going back to school? It's not going to be easy. How do we have universities which have large numbers of students who go to one lecture? How are you going to manage that? So I was telling someone, for me, at the secondary school level, even if this is possible, we should reverse to the shift system. We should reverse the shift system. When some people will go to school in the morning, some will go in the afternoon. So that we can reduce the numbers. And then in this role is filled, the second role is empty. So that we can then return to some normalcy and then look at what we can do. In China, and I saw videos in China where they actually place glasses in front of pupils to the nest. They are wearing masks and still have glasses, so in case the person even coughs, the glass is become like a protection for the person in front of the person. People are doing all kinds of things to be able to return life to normal. That is, for me, should be our focus. But I think that globally, it is turning out that the world is actually almost having a hold over the disease. But how then do we return to normal life is the challenge.
Thank you very much, Elvis.
Just one more thing. I think, you know, we should be able to highlight the three people that Elvis referred to who died from COVID purely.
Without any
And when you look at the ages of those three, they are young ones and they're all young people. And so we need to be able to practice the protocols. Without that practice, it's going to be very difficult and challenging. Look, in America, I think it's in America, they had a football match. 180 people were infected there and there. And so the challenge for me is the fine line between the economy and COVID. Today I was reading in the BNFT the challenge of those who export non-traditional produce to other countries, the glut that is happening in our country today. And so I think when the president comes and tells us that, you know, we need to open the economy, they're thinking of ways, we should all put our minds to it. Otherwise, what would happen is that everything could grind to a stop gradually, and that won't help any of us. I think we all need the support, but as I continuously say, the responsibility is on the people. The government will put what they have to put in place, but it's up to the people to make sure that they abide by the protocols.
Thank you very much. We'll now look at the kind of protection we've given to our health workers. On the 8th of May, a nurse at the Ghana Manganese Company in Takwa died from COVID-19. She reported sick on Wednesday the 6th, and by Friday the 8th, she had passed on. So what kind of, you know, protection are we giving our health officials to ensure that they stay safe in this era of COVID-19? I'll be reading from citynewsroom.com, and it says here, Takwa nurse with Ghana Manganese Company Hospital dies from COVID-19. A nurse with the Ghana Manganese Company Hospital in the Western region has succumbed to the novel coronavirus disease. The nurse is a 54-year-old who was assigned to the pre-triage area and actively participated in screening clients who attended the hospital. A statement from the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association said she reported sick on the 6th of May and returned home after treatment. She, however, returned to the hospital the following day with worsening health conditions and started exhibiting signs of COVID-19. She was admitted to the hospital to be managed and her samples taken, but before the results came, she passed away on the night of 8th May, and her results obviously came out positive. So there's so many problems with this story that I want us to look at. I'll start with you, Lawyer Jantwa, on, you know, her being tested, being sent home to you know, manage it a bit, coming back with a worse condition, and eventually passing on before she even knew that she was positive. We know a lot of healthcare workers have been complaining about the need for them to be, you know, given certain, you know, resources so that they don't even expose themselves to their families. But are we taking good enough care of our healthcare workers, especially the frontliners?
This question about frontliners, we still don't know what the definition of frontliners are according to the government. But from what I understand by frontliners are those who are 24/7 in the front line. Now, with this particular story, we need to interrogate exactly what protocols were in that hospital. I take it's Ghana Manganese Company Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you term those hospitals? Private or public hospitals?
Mm-hmm.
They would fall in between one of them. But we can take it as a private hospital because it's for a company. I'm a bit miffed by the time it took for them to do the testing and get the results. By the time the results came, the woman was dead. What kind of PPEs was there? Was she fully clothed? Was she abiding by the code of conduct for this? And please forgive me, I tend to think I understand English, but they use the word here, if you can define what that is. Pre-triage area. What's that area?
Those are the people who will rate how severe your condition is. So you come in, even if you come before Elvis, but Elvis has a severe condition, I would tell the other people. They are the first point of contact, actually.
So then you ask the question, if she was fully clothed, if she was fully in the attire that they're supposed to wear, because we see here when you go to the Ghana East Hospital, before they even get into the wards to check people, they are all fully clothed. They disinfect themselves afterwards and all that. Did that happen here?
Okay.
And if it didn't happen here, we need to ask the question why it didn't happen here.
Okay. So on those questions, we'll go for a quick break and we'll continue. This is still Breakfast Daily on CCTV. It's an interactive show. We want to hear from you, so wherever you are, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832 for us to hear from you. And if you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. We'll be right back.
It's here, the Express Pay app. More social, more power, more services. Experience a cooler way of payments with exciting new features. Want to go social? Upload a cool image to add a personal feel to your account. Payments are even more seamless with an enhanced process. Mark some accounts as favorites so they are super easy to access. Even cooler, view payment due dates and check remaining balances for your favorite accounts. Want to repeat a payment? Do that right from the History tab. Have all your money in one place with a sleek look and feel. Bank Direct has had an awesome makeover. You can now send money instantly to 22 banks and counting. Express Pay. Payments simplified.
Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily on CCTV. Thank you so much for staying with us again. It's an interactive show. We want to hear from you. So wherever you're watching us from, do use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear what you're thinking. And the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. I still have with me Elvis Dako, who's the editor of The Finder, and lawyer Kwame Jantra, who's a former vice chair of PIAC and a very senior member of the CPP. And before the break, we were discussing a nurse in Taka who passed on from COVID-19. She had a pre-existing health condition. She was working in the pre-charge unit of the hospital. She started, experiencing symptoms on the 6th of May. And then by the 8th of May, she had passed on before she could even get the results of her COVID test. And Lawyer Jantra was responding to that story.
Jifa, maybe we've gotten to a stage where nurses, midwives, all those medical staff should expose their conditions, if any have a condition, before they are put in certain areas.
Okay.
Because obviously, when you look at this, she died from mobility issues. And I think we cannot afford that to happen. If you know you have hypertension, you have any other kind of ailment, that COVID can also decide to piggyback on and, kill you. You need to let your authorities know, because this is a sad event. She got infected on the 6th, she was dead on the 8th. It's sad. When I read it, I felt very, very sad. But I still maintain that was everything done to protect the nurses in this hospital? Was everything done? And right now, who do you, if not much was done in terms of protection, in terms of attending to the protocols, then who do you point a finger at?
Yeah.
Do you point a finger at the administration of the hospital? Who is supposed to now take this over? The insurance that the government put in place, will it cover, nurses like this?
I'm sure she's a frontliner.
Oh, yeah, she's
a frontliner, so you should.
Okay. If it will, then,
But of course, nothing can cover.
Nothing can cover.
No
amount of money can cover. I mean, 54 nowadays is a young age.
Yeah,
it's not like in our father's time. So let's hope this doesn't happen again.
Okay.
But I think Minister of Health should now let anybody who has any underlying factors tell them, so that they know where to place them along the line.
Thank you very much.
Frontliners.
Thank you. Elvis, your thoughts on this story?
Well, it's a very pathetic and unfortunate story for somebody who has served this country in that capacity. If you look at her age, she's almost nearing retirement. Yeah. And for her to die in these circumstances is very much. We need to establish whether there were any lapses in the protocols to be followed. If there were lapses, then we can blame it on the lapses. But if there are no lapses and she still got it, then it could even be a case for further study. How come that she followed all the protocols yet still had it? How did she even get it in the first place? So I think that this issue, we need to look into it further, because I'm worried, because as at last 2 weeks, the Ghana Registered Nurses has issued a statement in which it said that 23 of its members have been affected with the COVID. So if 23 nurses have been affected and midwives have been affected, the critical question will be, do they have the PPEs? If they have it, did they actually use them the way they are supposed to use it? Did they follow their standard operating procedures when it comes to COVID? I think asking these questions will help us to establish if there were any lapses somewhere, and then we'll make sure that it does not repeat itself in other health facilities, so that we can save the lives of these people. Because without them, we are nobody, because they are the ones who are working so hard to make sure that the rest of us are safe. So if we don't protect them, if we don't do everything possible to make sure that this kind of unfortunate incident do not happen, it could hurt the entire health system. So I'm just going to plead that we should look at some of them. As lawyer has said, I think that nurses and doctors and health professionals, I think that it's about time with COVID we look at what is their health status, if they have comorbidities that COVID can easily take advantage of, then wherever we are assigning them, we should take that into cognizance, that these people cannot be at a place that they are always dealing with people, that possibility of infection will happen, so that people who do not have the conditions who do not have comorbidities can actually be at the front end. Some of these people can also support in other places, because other countries have suffered same fate. If you go to Italy, over 100 doctors had died. So many countries, Spain, all the places, you see healthcare workers dying, which is very pathetic, because the person is actually trying to save somebody's life, and the process, that person rather loses his or her life. Yeah. That is a very pathetic thing to happen. So I hope that we can take some of these things and ask the right questions, find out whether there are any loopholes. If there are, we'll be able to close it so that we don't lose more people in future to COVID, especially health workers.
Thank you very much, Elvis. We'll take a look at our second story here. And again, it's an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. Use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832 for us to hear from you. I'm reading the second story from citynewsroom.com, and it says here, Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences rejects public universities bill. So the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences has rejected the government's proposed public universities bill. According to the framers of the bill, it seeks to harmonize and the finances, administration, and governance structure of the public universities. The bill, when passed, will give the government power to appoint majority of members of the University Council. The council then has the power to appoint and fire public university officials. But according to the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, the powers accord the government and its agencies too much power to meddle in the affairs of public university administration, and also serves as grounds for sabotage of schools by the government. In a statement, the GAAS said the government's reasons for introducing the bill are unacceptable and poorly motivated. I'm going to quote them. The position of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences that the Public Universities Bill 2020 is poorly motivated and unjustified. It is unwarranted and likely to lead to Ghana's public universities becoming less globally competitive. The Academy further takes the position that the bill is largely intended to provide greater control over the management of public universities from government agencies. This is completely at variance with the spirit of the letter of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana and runs counter to the rich history of this nation. So it goes on to say that the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences is strongly of the view that this bill is dangerous and uncalled for. It is a recipe for total chaos in our tertiary education system. So Elvis, I'll start with you on this story of the Public Universities Bill and the Ghana Academy of Arts and Science coming out strongly to reject it.
Well, I think public universities globally become like the dissenting voices or the check on government when it comes to many issues. Yeah. So people who are workers, especially the professor and doctor, they are supposed to have their freedom to be able to tell any government whatever they think the issues are. And if we should have a situation where government appoints majority of members of the council, and then the council has power to fire and hire, obviously academic freedom would definitely be hindered. So on that point, I think I agree with them. But while I'm agreeing with them, say whoever pays the piper calls the shots. We have public universities in this country which are very, very, they are not innovative in raising funding, in running their schools. So they always are looking out for government funding or taxing only the students who are in session. If you look globally, elsewhere, universities raise so much money from donors, from past students, to be able to run the university than to depend largely on on government funding. If you are showing that kind of ability to raise funding to run your operations, then when you are financially independent, it will be difficult for government want to say even he wants to come in and control you. But then when the government is the one that is virtually funding everything that you are doing, the government felt that if I am the one providing the funding, then whatever that is happening there, I must also have a say. So for me, I think that whilst I will not want any government to be able to have control of public universities, I think the public universities should justify that by taking steps to redeem themselves and become financially independent. Ghanaians who have schooled abroad in major universities abroad will tell you that each year they receive mails from their school asking them for financial support, that this year the school is raising so much and these are the things that the school want to do with the money. So as a past student, wherever you are in the world, whatever you can contribute, send it to social account for us to be able to keep your university at the top.
But those close to their government still support.
That's what I'm saying, but I'm not sure government will not support, but they are not totally dependent on government. They are making effort to be financially dependent, to do many things without asking government for the money. But then when you have to be asking government for the money for almost everything you do, then the person who is giving you the money will also find a way of trying to control you. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that I'm not for government having the power to appoint majority of members of the council. I'm opposed to it. I think that the university should have its freedom. If government policies are to be well criticized, it should come from the academia. Academia should be the one
funding to academia. Government should not get involved.
Of course, I don't want, because I want academia to sit down and say, this also and so department have evaluated this government policy. This is one factory. I've been sitting down thinking, a KNUST faculty or a Legon faculty or UCC faculty will say, we are going out there to do an assessment of one district, one factory, and do an independent report about what we have found. One village, one dam. I'm looking at agriculture, a faculty of Legon or Nyankpala or whoever, going out there and say, we are going to do an assessment of one village, one dam, and bring the results and say, this is what we have found. If the council is controlled by the government, and the government should have more powers, how can a faculty from a state university go out and do an independent and publish it? They can't do it because they'll be afraid that if the result does not favor the government, the council will use it as an opportunity to victimize them and fire them. So for me, I will not be in support of a government having to appoint majority of a council of a university. I don't think I will support that. I want the universities to have their academic freedom. It is global standard. Everybody knows what happens in many places where the universities determine what they want to do because they have a majority of the council. So I think that I support them, but I also appeal to them
to go for
that they should be able to do things to tell government that even if we don't have enough budget from you, we can still do what we want to do because we are being innovative in raising funding from other sources to be able to operate.
Thank you very much, Elvis. Well done, sir.
Why do you want to politicize universities? The running of the universities. What is the aim? What is the objective? You say here that according to, sorry, my
no worries. Are you referring to the article? Okay.
The article, yes.
Okay. Which part? I'll read it out.
The finance bit.
Okay.
It says, according to framers of the bill, it seeks to harmonize the finances, administration, and governance structure of public universities. What are you harmonizing? What are you harmonizing? Different universities handle the finances in different ways. If they really want to put the cosh on the universities for them to be able to account for the monies they spend, let them do it like they do GMPC. GMPC, with the money they get from the oil revenue and from government, they have to defend it in Parliament. And they have quite a string of agencies they need to defend the monies they've given to them and how they spend it. Let them do it that way. And yes, Elvis was right. We want an independent university who can now put government on its toes. I am very, very surprised that, and I really didn't expect an MPP government to do this.
Why?
expected.
What's wrong with what they're doing?
Look, the MPP tradition touts democracy. From way back UGCC days, they tout themselves as a democratic party and the kind of party that would make sure that democracy reigns. So why from this? Why from this? I don't think it's fair on the universities. Yes, if the universities aren't doing the right thing, there is a process and procedure, and they are responsible to the Ministry of Education, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Make them responsible to Parliament too, so that they can justify how they spend the monies given them. Okay. Now, when you look at the Universities Act, I think because they're a public university, they are not allowed to go out there and market for funds. Change it. Change it. Put strict regulation in place so that when they do, they can account for whatever monies have come in. Because the way they're doing it, they are politicizing the universities. Yeah. So an NDC government comes into power, they do their thing. A CPP government comes into power, that is, if we do come into power, we do the same thing. It is wrong. We need at least some institutions that are free from government tentacles. And the university is one of them. If it so happens that somebody's ward, who is a strong supporter of the MPP or is a financier of the MPP, and or financier of the NDC or financier of the CPP, whichever government is in power, and because they have people in there, they can smuggle their awards in there, even if they haven't passed, they haven't made the grade. And so I don't think it's the right thing. I think government should think about it again. It doesn't help any of us, unfortunately.
Thank you very much. We have
there were lecturers who criticized free SHS. There were lecturers who criticized one district, one factory policies. You can imagine that we are in a regime where government controls the council. Will those lecturers they are posted by now? Yes. But we need those kind of criticisms. For government actually need those criticisms to be able to take a second look at whatever it is doing. So for me, the freedom, academic freedom, is very important. We must keep it.
Okay. You see, if anybody is going to criticize, let's criticize objectively. I don't understand why governments in power don't like criticism. Criticism helps you to, improve yourself. And as the Ashanti proverb goes, sense is not in one person's head. So that criticism should help you, do good things. Because you've been given a mandate for 4 years to rule. And whatever rule you put in place should benefit the people. So I think government should look at it again.
Okay, thank you very much. We have some messages from our viewers. I'm going to read that briefly. Bright says, are we deliberately reducing testing just to get fewer positive cases to justify lifting the restrictions? Do we see increasing daily positivities? And epidemiologically, it is worse, and any hasty decision could land us in trouble. During the Spanish flu pandemic, more people died during the second spike. So you're telling us to be very careful. Good morning to you, Jifa, and your panel. I wanted to ask if there is any reason why the number of cases in the eastern region has remained the same for some time. Are they doing something right that the other regions are not doing, or testing has come to a halt, hence no new cases being reported in this period? I'm sure we'll be hearing from the Information Ministry tomorrow, and when the Health Minister comes, we'll do well to ask the question about the regions where the numbers have remained the same. Is it because we are not testing, we are doing more contact tracing testing, or monitoring the communities, or is it genuinely because they don't have any more positive tests? AU Farouk from Tamale North says, good morning. Yes, the recovery rate of COVID-19 in Ghana is questionable. Overnight, 1,754 people recovered. Wonder shall never end. But I must say, this isn't an overnight case. We know that a lot of the people who are in the positive category, you need to test them again for 2 weeks. Even if they come out negative, they are monitored for an additional 2 weeks before we can say that they have recovered. So it's a process that it takes up to a month before you get the results. So it could very well be the result of all those people who have been waiting and are going through the process to ensure that they are negative. We'll now take a look at our final story. But if you have any more questions or comments, let us know the hashtag Breakfast Daily and WhatsApp line 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, please use the country code +233 and we'll get your messages. Our final story is from the Custodian. It says, "Stop peddling on truths. EC NIA fire NDC." That story is on page 2 of the Custodian. So the Electoral Commission and the National Identification Authority have dismissed allegations by the opposing National Democratic Congress that they are conniving to rig the 2020 elections in favor of the governing New Patriotic Party. At a news conference in Accra on Thursday, the main opposition party, NDC, led by its national chairman, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, accused the two state institutions of scheming to steal the next general elections for the governing party. However, in a strongly worded statement issued by the acting director of public affairs, Sylvia Ano, the EC took NDC to the cleaners, indicating that it was impossible to conspire with any political party or institutions to rig elections because the electoral processes remain transparent at all levels. It expressed displeasure at what it noted calculated attempts by NDC to peddle untruths and falsehood aimed at tarnishing its image and causing disaffection. Of course, the NIA also came out to fire the NDC on Friday, and they said that the allegations were disturbing and they did not agree at all. I want to quote what the NIA Executive Director, Professor Ken Atafua, said. He says, I want to assure the good people of this country that the NIA is not involved in any such criminal design or enterprise with the EC, with the government of Ghana, or with any person or entity whatsoever described. There is, in short, no conspiracy, and perhaps any person or institution alleging such criminal conspiracy has a duty to report same to the police. So Elvis has for allegations that they are collaborating with the governing party to rig the 2020 elections.
No, for me, I think that the NDC has not provided any empirical evidence to back their claim. The claim is only based on the fact that Electoral Commission has presented a CI to Parliament indicating that they want to use data of passport holders and NIA card holders to be able to compile the new register. And based on that, NDC concludes that that's a scheme to steal an election. Now, I don't think that they have established any empirical evidence to back their case. And therefore, I don't think that they have anything doing, because the allegation from the Electoral Commission is that at the last IPAC meeting, these issues were discussed, but the NDC actually boycotted the IPAC meeting. The NDC didn't sit in the meeting. So what they presented to Parliament is not that they just went and presented it without a discussion with the parties, but at the meeting that this was to be discussed, the NDC boycotted the meeting. So if it comes as a surprise to the NDC, it is because the NDC boycotted that particular meeting. So if NDC
done enough to actively engage all political parties that are opposing this,
EC has done enough. Process. I've told you before, political parties in this country have taken the EC like they are chewing stick. If it's election and they are in opposition, their number one attack is on the Electoral Commission. And it is not new. We have seen it from since we came to the Fourth Republic. It has always been the situation where the opposition party always seems to have issues with the Electoral Commission. For me, I don't think that it's something that we should see. As a country, we should understand that in spite of everything, we must do things that is in the interest of all of us. Me, if I had my way, Electoral Commission should open registration for everybody who wants to register to go and register. After all, Electoral Commission registration is not by force; it's not compulsory. If you feel that you don't want to go and register for voting, nobody will arrest you. NIA registration, nobody will arrest you. As I sit here, when the NIA was doing registration in Accra, I didn't register because I thought the chaos was too much at the station. So as to speak, I'm not registered for NIA.
So you don't have your national identification?
I don't have. And I was because by the plan, Then I was reporting on them. I know that by the plan, when they finish all the regions, they're supposed to open district offices where you can just walk in and do your registration. So me, I said, okay, if that's going to happen, why should I hustle myself?
So how are you going to vote this year?
Why am I going to vote?
How would you vote?
Why wouldn't I vote? I'll
vote. You don't have the NIA card. You have to go get it.
Oh, but it's not late. NIA machines are, if they open, that's what I'm saying, that some of the strategies, they need to be, if I were NIA, when they ask us to stop in this story, I would rather open district offices. That's why nobody is putting any pressure on you to go and register. At your own free will time, you walk to the district office and say, I am not ready to register me and go.
But some
that will take pressure away.
Some people have concerns that the whole process is very long, especially for people who don't have passports, and they have to get 2 additional people in this season of COVID-19.
That is the law.
Stay in line with you.
That is the law. Until the law is changed, we cannot do anything. We are a country of laws. So if we have laws, we must abide by the law. So if the law says this is the process of registration, whatever you need to get the registration, I get it and go and register. That's why I said I didn't go to join the queue with all the chaos, because I believe that if they open a district office, the pressure will be less. I can just go there and register for my card. So I did it. So registration for NIA card or EC card, the truth is that the law does not say that if you don't have
I do not understand. I don't understand why election should be a do or die issue in this country. I don't understand it. Why don't we have registrations throughout the year? I mean, it would curtail all this kind of stuff. Let's register. Anybody who hasn't registered can walk into a district office, just register. All this brouhaha and all this, is unnecessary. It doesn't help us in any way. The NDC's claim, I listened to Elvis, what's his name? Efiri Anka on Metro the other day. Their claim is that the CI that they've taken to Parliament insist only 2 forms of identification. And then the third one is the guarantor. And they have increased the guarantor passport and the CI card. To them, it would disenfranchise a lot of people. And they're saying in their strongholds, this would be a huge challenge. I mean, what is the brouhaha about it? What's the brouhaha about it? I really don't understand why we've gotten ourselves in this kind of medal. Yes, I don't think the Electoral Commission has shown, their body language has shown some kind of cordiality between the political parties. And for me, the EC is an institution that can create mayhem or can create peace in a country where elections are concerned.
I think that's a great point to end the conversation. Thank you so much, Lawyer Kwame Jantua, for being with us, and of course Elvis Darko for being with us as well. And you at home for staying for the news review. Up next, we'll be talking to State Registered Nutritionist Akosia Konedu Yadom. So if you have any questions for her, send them over and David will ask her for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethlog, experts in shipping logistics.
There are those with untold stories, unraveled feats, life-changing stories, and lasting legacies. They tell their stories themselves right here on Footprints.
So we go to someone we were put in our various cells, and then someone you have it's a huge prison, and then it was then that it dawned on me that I was really in big trouble.
Do you think that the overthrow of Liman was justified?
I think that with hindsight, there was no justification.
Be inspired by their hard work and resilience that led to those outstanding achievements as we trace their footsteps through the capsule of time.
Because of my upbringing, my mother, my father, they are, Christianity.
Yeah.
So because of that, I
strong
feel
hands
strong.
at home.
Even though I'm the guy smoking, doing all kinds of that, I've never tried.
You've never tried?
No, never tried weed or anything. Nothing.
You've never tried weed?
Even drinking, alcohol, no.
Why should you people put everything, go on. Everything was done before Nkrumah arrived in the country.
No, aho ni leba ye.
Aho neba ye.
So join me, Samuel Atamensa, and my guests every Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. only on City TV.
Footprint is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subject you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks, and tune in to Class Act only on City TV.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you. 30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV,
access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. City TV, it's your world.
So who the Lord made us, we bring it back to Him. Our song says, my handkerchief, this is my crown. So we say, Jesus, my sweet, sweet lover. Oh, yonkumu yonkupane. My King, you make me royal. So this is my gift, straight from my heart. Yeah. Jesus, my sweet, sweet lover. Oh, yonkumu yonkupane. My King, you make me royal. So this is my gift, straight from my heart. So say, my Jenny, my Jenny, this is my crown. My Jenny, my Jenny, this is my crown. My crown, we bring it back to you, oh Lord. My Jenny, my Jenny, this is my crown. So we say, Mizimawo, Mizimawo, Mizimakuma, Mazinara, Mizimawo. To you, this is what we say, my Jenny, this is my crown, this is my crown, we bring it back, my Jenny. We bring it back to you, my Jenny. Everything that we are, everything that we own, it all belongs to you, my Jenny. My Jenny. Everything that looks like a crown, that seems like a crown, we bring it back to you, Lord. Say, my Jenny, this is my crown. My Jenny. Hinchanie, this is my crown. My Hinchanie, my Hinchanie, this is my crown.
Ghana is a beautiful country. There is so much of it you probably haven't seen, haven't experienced, haven't eaten. When this is all over, let's discover our land again with new eyes. Let's feel each other again. We are one people, brought together by destiny. Let's make that count. Let's show love for each other and our environment. Let's tell our stories, and let's watch and listen to our stories. There will be so much to tell. Ghana is a truly beautiful country. Be Ghana, stay in Ghana, experience Ghana, make Ghana great. And we will invite the world to come and experience Ghana too. But for now, stay home. Brought to you by the National Film Authority. Support the Stay Home and Discover Ghana Later campaign. This channel supports the campaign.
God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Welcome back. It's time to engage Akosua Konadu Yadom, our state registered nutritionist, on the nutrition segment. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We posted up on Facebook earlier on questions that you may have to ask her, for us to ask her, and then we'll discuss them in the studio. So some of you already sent lots and lots of questions, and we're going to try and tackle them as much as possible. Good morning, Akosua.
Good morning, Kweku.
How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Yourself?
Fantastic. I'm good. I'm good. All right. So let's dive into the questions right away. So the first one here says, "Great initiative and thank you. May I please know what food or foods should one eat to sufficiently boost the immune system to be able to successfully combat the coronavirus in particular and diseases generally?"
Okay, so to start with, a balanced diet is critical for every person, the sick, the convalescent, everybody, the aged, the young child. For us all within the life cycle, a good meal is very important, and it should fall under the WHO recommendation as far as our dietary intake, is concerned, which has to do with the 4-star diet, consisting of the staples, the animal flesh and product or protein, fruits and vegetables, fats and essential fats and oils, and then the leguminous family. So everything you are consuming, we are expecting that within a 24-hour dietary record or from morning to evening, you should have satisfied all the protocols. Yes, it is very critical that we pay attention to what we are eating, because nutrition is one of the to-dos when it comes to tackling COVID-19. Obviously, even the one who has been taken to the isolation center is eating. We are all eating, and so food plays a very vital role. But you need to make sure that you are constantly pumping a little bit more of some of foods rich in vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin C most importantly, and then zinc-rich foods. If you are eating a wide range of everything we have as far as fruits and vegetables are concerned, as far as our staples, our yam, potatoes, banku, kondo, cassava, everything we have here, if you are eating from our food groups and making sure that you are varying your meals, it will definitely satisfy everything I've highlighted as far as the 4-star diet is concerned, and you paying attention to vitamin D, E, C, and zinc-rich foods are concerned, yes.
All right, great. So that question was from Majid Yakubu, and there's a follow-up on that question that says, may I also know what role water or fluids play in the fight, if any at all?
Okay, so to start with, water can't prevent or help you fight COVID-19, but water is very important for our body's functioning, for our body to be able to carry out its it's functioning. Yes, and so water plays a very critical role. There are a lot of people saying take warm water and this and that. Then they should give everybody in isolation warm water and expect that they will be okay. Water is important, COVID-19 or no COVID-19, but you need to make sure that you are constantly keeping your body hydrated, because it will help with the body's function, which and the immune system also is part as far as body's functioning is concerned. So once there is checking of electrolytes in the body, then it means that the work of the immune system will be improved on. So yes, water is important as far as improving on your immune health is concerned. So do the normal 8 glasses a day, and we've spoken about the fact that it is equivalent to 4 of the sachet water if you are taking the 500 ml. But now they've reduced some of the sizes, so do between 5 and 6. So you should be safe. That is for a normal person.
So basically 2 liters of water a day.
It's okay, but you shouldn't overdo it, because it can also tamper with your sodium levels. And we know that, yes, too much of everything. So you have people asking, oh, water is good, so I keep taking water. Your sodium levels has to be within a certain balance. If you are not careful, it's like you diluting it too much. And so just work with what you need. And we are getting some of the water from the food we are eating, especially with the fufu and soups, with the porridges. So just make sure that you are at least taking 4 sachets or 5 sachets in a day.
Okay, great. So Kwekudan says, is fasting the best way? He's asking, is fasting the best way to lose weight?
Fasting is okay. Yes, it helps our bodies to lose weight. It's true, especially with the intermittent fast. Yes, so I won't sit here and say that do 40 days fasting and it's a good way to lose weight. If you are doing intermittent fast, what is intermittent fast, Kweku? We have 7 days in a week, so there are about 5 or even 7 types as far as the intermittent fast are concerned. We have the 5:2, where you eat. We have 7 days in a week. You eat 5 days in a week, and then the other 2 days,
2 days off.
You don't take anything. And for you to have an effective fast, you have to make sure that you do it within a certain period. You don't fast, let's say, 6 hours and expect your body to be shedding off the excess weight. So you have people going, I fast, I do this intermittent thing, but it's still not working. Your body will start burning fat after 12 hours of fasting.
Okay.
So for the first 12 hours, what it does is that your body will now feed on the stored sugar or glucose.
Okay.
And then after the first 12 hours, from the between 12 and 14th hour, your body now begins to burn the stored fats in your body. So know the timing when you want to do a fast or an intermittent fast. We have the warrior diet, where people go low, fruits and vegetables within the day, and they have a very heavy meal in the evening or for supper and dinner. But I wouldn't want to really be pushing much, because then people in their aggressiveness to lose weight would want to be picking on certain things. We have several types, but you need to work with a professional so that we can design what is appropriate for you, because there are people with underlying conditions, there are people who are okay, there are people who want to lose weight but they are not overweight, they just want to shed some weight off. There are people who are morbidly obese. So for individuals, depending on where your assessment will place you, will determine what is best appropriate for you. So seek a professional nutritionist.
All right, fantastic.
To help you.
Mama Sewa Chumesi is asking, is it right to eat acidic foods right after eating?
This question, acidic foods, I would say that our body, our body is basically alkaline, but our stomach is acidic. It can go as even below 3.5. So if you have 3.5, it means that your tummy is acidic. That's how come our stomach is able to break everything we eat. Digestion is able to happen.
Okay.
So now, if your body is on its own making this acid, it wouldn't be appropriate to keep on pumping or introducing extra acid into your body. It is ideal and very healthy to do alkaline foods, so that there will be some sort of balance and it will make the work of the stomach easier. But obviously, I know where it is coming from. For example, a pregnant woman, we are always preaching about the fact that they need to make sure they are eating enhancers to aid in the absorption of iron, for instance. After taking my banku with tilapia, for me to be able to get the best of the iron from the fish, I would want to, let's say, have one orange just to help me to be able to absorb. In this regard, the orange is acidic. Yes, so for such a person, it will work. But ask yourself, Beku, if it's a conscious practice, for instance, there are people after every meal, they have to take something to push it down. You should know what you are eating. You should know what your body needs at the moment. And I gave an example. If you're pregnant and you want to make sure your iron levels or your HB levels are within the acceptable levels, then after having my iron-rich meal or after having my banku and tilapia, I would want to have an orange, or after some time, give myself some time, let's say 30 minutes, 1 hour after eating, I can take the orange so that absorption can be worked on. But if you want to take it in right at the moment, why not? Because there are people or places serving fish with lime on it, and people squeezes just to also aid absorption. So you just have to know how to find a balance and ask yourself, you are not just taking the acidic food. It's not like I just got up and my meal is orange juice or lemon juice. Yes, you are adding other food. So I believe that the harm wouldn't be as massive as it will be if you're taking it whole.
So as a follow-up to her question, I'm going to do this. Is a two-part question. The question is, can acidic foods reduce the size of the tummy? And then, what can one do to reduce central obesity?
Okay, so for that, basically you adhering or making sure that you are adapting a healthy lifestyle is the best advice I will give to you. What you are eating contributes to how you look. So if you are unhappy about the fact around your waistline, you'd have to make sure that you are constantly cutting down on certain things. You ask people, ask yourself, what oil am I using? What sugar am I using? what milk am I using? It's something I ask people when I am dealing with individuals.
Yeah.
Because you realize that, okay, for their milk preference, they are taking milk loaded or with lots of cholesterol in there, and then you go in with the oil and you realize that there are lots of those on our screens. A lot of them are the bad ones, but they are on the screens. So I will always recommend something like coconut oil, canola oil, sunflower oil. They are low as far as the fat that hurts us are concerned. So you should make sure you are cooking with healthy oils, you are working out or exercising. For people with a lot of fat around their waistline, it is advisable that they
like mine.
like yours is
Like
good,
mine.
Kweku. You are blessed though. You are blessed. Yes. So for some people, you will need to work with a gym instructor, because depending on how bad your situation is, you may need to even lift. Do some weight
training.
lifting.
Okay.
And that I wouldn't tell you to be doing that in the house. You need a fitness coach. You need to go to the gym so that they put you through the proper workout, and make sure you do a lot of cardio workouts.
Aerobics,
Because once fat is involved, it can have effects on your heart. Yes, and so you should make sure you are eating well. We've spoken at length about what eating well is.
Yeah.
And then if you are taking alcohol, it's about time you cut down on it if you can't avoid it completely. And then if there are any lifestyle practices you are not doing well, and ask yourself, how bad is it? You need to measure your waist and your hip. Just for you, there is a measurement. I don't know how I can teach people, but you can send me a DM on my social media platforms, and then I'll gladly help you.
Did you bring a
out.
tape measure? Because maybe we should do a demonstration live for
I
them.
don't have a tape measure,
Okay, no
but,
problem.
but
We'll
let me
have to do that another
just get up and then try to. So you do. You measure your waist. For a man and a woman is different. For ladies, we have our waistline. For men, men do have their waistline too. So you need to know where your waist is, or you can go to that tailor or seamstress and just tell him or her
measure the waist.
measure your waist and your hip for you. Yes. So if it's within a certain range, it's too technical. I don't know how to go about it, but I will post how you can do it on my social media platforms for anybody who wants to check.
The next question is Felix Berima is from Berima. He says, what types of foods can help bad cholesterol? Now, before you answer that question, we're going to go for a short break. We'll come back and continue the conversation. Now, those of you who are watching, before we take a short break, let me just remind you that the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. Send your questions our way, and Kusha will answer them for you. Take a short break. We'll be right back.
It's here, the Express Pay app. More social, more power, more services. Experience a cooler way of payments with exciting new features. Want to go social? Upload a cool image to add a personal feel to your account. Payments are even more seamless with an enhanced process. Mark some accounts as favorites so they are super easy to access. Even cooler, view payment due dates and check remaining balances for your favorite accounts. Want to repeat a payment? Do that right from the History tab. Have all your money in one place with a sleek look and feel. Bank Direct has had an awesome makeover. You can now send money instantly to 22 banks and counting. Express Pay, payments simplified.
Kosia Kunidi Yadom, who is our guest today and every day on this segment of the show. She's a state-registered nutritionist. She's been helping us to understand some of the challenges that we have at our questions and answer them. Now, the question that Felix Berima asked before we went for the break, and she's going to answer it for us. She says, the question is, what type of foods can help reduce bad cholesterol? I joined myself in this question.
That's why I was laughing. Okay, so cholesterol basically has to do with excess, which is basically what we say, sardine or fat. It's in the blood. So that is to the layman's understanding. Yes. So Kwaku, basically adopting a healthy lifestyle will help, because I always say that most of the NCDs, they are cousins. If you have
NCDs?
Non-communicable diseases, if you have diabetes and you are not too careful, hypertension will be here and looking like, hey cousin, I'm also here. So you have to make sure that you are adopting a healthy lifestyle. Adopt a healthy lifestyle. Make sure you are eating well and ask yourself, what is sitting on my plate? What I have sitting on that plate, is it going to benefit me or is it going to hurt me? So I think this question, there was a question I answered as to you eating with the fat, you making sure...
The 4-star diet.
Yes, so making sure that your eating or your 24-hour dietary record falls in line with the 4-star diet. That is what the WHO recommends.
Are there any examples, specific examples of foods that are known to help bring down
the cholesterol?
Yes.
Basically, foods with low glycemic index, and glycemic index I've explained at length. So let's say if I take white bread or butter bread, and then I take wheat bread. Yes, I can take 2 slices of wheat bread, 2 slices of butter bread, but as far as caloric intake or content is concerned,
the white bread is
the white bread will be higher in calories as compared to the wheat bread. And glycemic index is how fast sugar or what we eat is being converted into sugar. So for somebody who is taking the wheat bread, as far as caloric intake is concerned and glycemic index is concerned, the person's glycemic sugar levels will be low. And so for a person like that, if we should do blood test or check sugar levels, you see that the levels will be probably within an acceptable limit as compared to the other counterpart who is used to a certain kinds of meal or a certain kind of lifestyle. So adopt a healthy lifestyle, cut down on alcohol consumption. If you can stop it outrightly, use healthy fats. Make sure you are exercising at least 30 minutes in a day. For children, it should be at least an hour, but you should start it gradually. Yes, and then make sure you are eating your breakfast, you are eating your lunch, you are eating your supper, and doing your healthy in-betweens. That is for a normal adult. If you're a pregnant woman, depending on the trimester you find yourself in, normally between the second, third, you need to add an extra meal to it so that you can meet your needs, or else baby will begin to feed on your stored nutrients. And we don't want that to happen.
No, we don't.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, can persons at the risk of contracting heart disease still consume products containing caffeine? Now, this is coming from Abaya Gay Joe. Now, I just want to say that you don't contract heart disease, it develops. Okay, it's not a communicable disease, so you don't contract it. It develops over time. So, go ahead.
Thank you, Teacher Kweku. So, caffeine. It depends on the level you are doing it. There is still much research going into it every day, because there is school of thought that thinks that caffeine is helping us. And even for some medications, you have caffeine in the medication that has to do with migraine, that has to do with headaches. You have it's in there. So there are people who gain alertness when they take caffeine. There are people whose system need to wake up. When you get up, we say that you take water to wake your system up. There are people who wake their systems up with that. So it's a very dicey thing, but I would tell you not to do it overboard.
Okay.
I had a
So
colleague.
everything in moderation, really.
In moderation. So a cup won't be too bad, because if you have a busy schedule and you need to make sure you are alert, if you are the president of Ghana in this era of COVID-19, and you'd have to be thinking about every single Ghanaian, a cup, a teacup of this wouldn't be bad. But if it is something you are taking it, I had a colleague, she can go 5 cups in a day, 5, 6. That one, it's becoming a problem.
Yeah, but because coffee drinkers don't do 1 cup. You are not a bona fide coffee drinker if you do 1 cup.
So if you are doing it overboard, that's where there is a problem, because there is a chance that you increase your heart rate and then your blood pressure. So once your heart rate and your blood pressure is influenced in a bad sense, then you are heading for trouble. So that's why I'm saying that a cup or 2 shouldn't be something that you can do.
Super. Final question before we go. How long should one wait before taking in water after meals? This is Gertrude from Kaswa.
Okay, so for this question, a colleague told me, do you expect me to? It is, our meals are dry. Our meals are dry. So depending on what you do, I obviously wouldn't want to do that. But if I am choking, Kweku, I wouldn't need a nutritionist or anybody to tell me that you need to take water. So you can, if taking water becomes part of you, I don't think that eating will call for it if you are not choking. For instance, I wake up and I take a sachet of water. I make sure that I properly distribute my consumption of my daily need as far as water is concerned or fluids are concerned. My meal time wouldn't be when I will be needing water. Yes, or be craving for water. So normally, if you are not choking, you can give yourself some time so that digestion can happen, because when you do that, it tempers with proper digestion.
What does it do? Is diluting? There's something in the stomach? When we
were young, we were like, it's just like you serving me rice with stew, and then I pour water
in it.
on it. But that is on a lighter note. But I'm just saying that you just want your body to receive everything you served and make sure that everything has been properly assimilated. You don't want anything tampering with it. But if you are choking, if you have fruit juice in there, it's perfect. Fruit juice is not what is sitting on the shelves. What you've squeezed in a house. If you have a juice sitting in your house for 6 months and you are calling it fruit juice, it's a lie. So let's say I have fresh orange juice, fresh watermelon juice. I can have it with my meal, and I wouldn't just be giving my body fluids, but I would also be serving my body some amount of nutrients as far as vitamins and minerals are concerned.
Thank you. We're going to have to do this again, because the questions are so many. I think I haven't even gone through half the questions.
Maybe they should ask on my handles.
So let's put your handle out there. Let people know how they can send you
on
the questions
Instagram,
directly.
it's at the Nutritionist Akosia. Instagram at the Nutritionist Akosia, and then you can follow my Facebook page on at Nutritionist Akosia, Twitter, LinkedIn, Nutritionist Akosia.
All right. So until next week, when we come back again with this segment of the show, hopefully we'll do this again next week.
Really?
If we don't, please send your questions to her. But if we don't do it next week, we'll do it soon enough anyway. You can send your questions to her directly for her to answer them for you. Now, as we take a break, take a look at the entertainment highlights. We'll be back soon.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwamina. Gospel musician Patience Nyako has said on Onua FM that Joe Mettle doesn't deserve the big accolades he has been given by the music industry. During a discussion on how to project the gospel music industry, she noted that even though Joe Mettle has been touted as the most sought-after gospel act in Ghana, she believes he has not yet gotten to that level. Joe Mettle has not gotten to where he's been placed by the public. The way people are lifting him up there, he hasn't gotten there yet, she said. According to her, Joe Mettle does not write most of his songs, and that a lot of his songs are sampled from old Pentecost and Methodist music. How many English songs does Joe Mettle have? Is it not Pentecost songs and Methodist songs that he sings? If these churches decide to stop people from singing their songs, what would be the fate of Joe Mettle, she asked. She said all these when the issue of language barrier came in the discussion as a contributing factor to the low visibility of Ghanaian gospel musicians on the international music market. Ghanaian musician Fontana and Wendy Shea are at each other's throats again because of the comments the former made during an interview. The two have been throwing jabs at each other on social media for quite some time now, that at a point Fontana threatened to slap Wendy. It's always perceived that they do it for clout, but from all indications, this is more than just for attention. A few days ago, Fontana said in an interview that Wendy Shea was a local champion who hasn't really achieved anything outside Ghana.
Okay, so wait, Wendy Shea has a fan base in Germany and Holland. Does that make her a local champion or international?
So
because now we are going, we are creating the list again.
Okay, so Wendy is part of the local champions, not because I don't like her or anything, but because she hasn't really achieved anything outside of Ghana for people to be like, oh my God, you get what I'm saying? So when they're listing big musicians in the country, it would be Effia, Becca, Wiala, and then they can start off with higher local champions, which is like Wendy, and then even me, like next month I'll be a year in the industry, but I consider myself a local champion because in Ghana, everybody knows me, so now it's my...
In response to her comment, Wendy Shea made an Instagram post to say some artists can create news, but they can't create his song. The second part of the message she wrote in German, translated by Instagram to be, with big teeth, you don't do hits songs, I make money. In the meantime, the two are still exchanging salvos on social media. It seems Eno Baroni is not done with the beef that started a few weeks ago with Sistefia and later Medical. Last week, the rapper announced she will soon release Force Them to Play Nonsense after Medical mentioned the release date for his song Nonsense. A few days ago, Medical released a highly anticipated song on which he threw some shots at Sister Debbie, Ikuapem Polo, DKB and some other celebrities. But Eno Baroni has also released Force Them to Play Nonsense, which features Sister Debbie and Strongman. It is not clear if Medical will reply to this again, but in this era of beefing among rappers, anything is possible.
Hype lyrics on the beat. Forget map, make I show you good. Minimum be bone to roast these. Young con is low. You swag yancy at CS Chrome. She say, I know yenda. Yet you room 2 4 yenda. Back to money matter. Huh? And yes, you can hear any pre pressure. I go force you to play nonsense. You be everywhere we they spend money. Come and say, I they use common sense. Oh, now I 10 nightmare. Me rain round. Oh, khaki, I am see our lorry fair. And this was you. Ube kumedia kume preko. Era de kai mi ona o meko. Sema Jones go baby. Now you find me 50 Ghana come and net preko. Hello, how far? Mama Chan kwa. Hello, how far? 1 2 3 argument done. Hello, how far? Mama Chan kwa. Hello, how far? 1 2 3 argument.
Boys, I feel when kwamo this near say. Muya mun check me hits near say. Real homie shall fake near say. Me miss road, I'm a cramo feel more rich, moya say. Adre, me who ana machia, so me show ana matia. One can say, if I was second say, yeah, say, yeah. Me ben one am a pian, we a cool ana machia. Koto ana chia, to na beef me betuao. I the toy in the globe. And to continue to be a medana, me she gloves. I said, you must be this to me, who am I slow. This year, no hardcore, go with the flow.
All right, and back from that entertainment highlights. And speaking of entertainment highlights, a big happy birthday to Kwame Dadzi. We love you so much. He's here with us, and he's the head of, he's entertainment don at City TV and City FM. Now, we started the show off with Harry King. We have him here. He's going to tell us a bit about himself, his life, why gospel. If you have any questions for him, let me know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550 585-832, and I'll ask him for you. And of course, if you're outside Ghana, please use the hashtag the country code +233. Good morning, Harry.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for the
Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, Harry King. I'm a young minister who preached the gospel through music. Yeah,
Okay.
And I'm also a graphic designer and
Okay.
a video editor. Yeah, so
Nice.
that's what I do. But the gospel aspect is my way of exhibiting my talent and sharing my gifts to the world. Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been ministering?
This question, the truth of the matter is I started doing this at a very young age, but getting the whole concept of what God actually wanted me to do was about 6 years ago. That's when I started doing programs, recording, and then doing all that. Yeah.
How has the journey been so far?
It's not been easy. Starting like this as a young person who doesn't have support, it takes the grace of God. But by the grace of God and like the opportunity City is giving me now, it's also giving us the privilege to also meet other people who comes in to support. Yeah.
Tell us about the singles that you have.
Yeah. So I have Afole, I have Kache Yesu, I have a new one coming that we did this morning, My Hinche, My Crown. We have we actually have an album we are putting together to come out with my team that we are putting together. But we have few videos out there on our YouTube that is blessing people.
What's the story behind all the singles?
Okay, so Afole actually is a song that talks about what God has done for me in my life and how I can repay him back. And then I can't pay him back with my money or anything, but so I give my life as a sacrifice unto him. And that's what Afole is about. And Kache Yesu is a song that talks about I realize that many a times when we go through difficult situations, we tend to talk to God and to talk to men. And at the end of the day, we find ourselves in a situation where we are being disappointed and all. So Kache Yesu talks about in everything that you go through, there are people you can talk to, but at the end of the day, you might be disappointed. So why don't you tell God about it? For he is the only one who can actually help you in everything that you are going through. So that's what Kache Yesu is about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And where can we get all the singles?
They are on my YouTube, Hurricane. We have them there. We are now putting the album together, like I said earlier, but we have them on our YouTube and on our digital platforms here, Hurricane. Yes,
what should we expect from you this year?
We are putting together, like I said, another album, another project coming up, and we are believing God that it's going to be powerful. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, where do we follow you on social media?
I'm Hurricane on Facebook, Hurricane Music on Instagram, and Hurricane on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take a look at your video right now and then continue the show. Let's take a look at Hurricane's video.
To the Lord. Can we do some dancing tonight? Are you ready? Are you ready? I've never seen this guy before. I want to thank my sponsors one more time with Sonic, Rich Media. I've never seen this guy before.
Welcome back. Now,
that's Harry King there.
Yeah,
very powerful.
Really good. Yeah. And we're gonna wrap up the show and leave you with Harry King to end the show for us. But a new segment that we're introducing on the show on Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m. is called Hello, Mr. President. Now, this segment is very important because what it is basically for you to voice your opinions and ask questions of the president. And as you can see it on your screen there, what we're asking you to do is to record a 60-second video of yourself telling the president all problems that you're facing and living with in Ghana, or address the president in a write-up of no more than 250 words. Okay, and the way to do it is to send it by email to hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com. Now, there's a WhatsApp line as well. It's the same one that we always call for, 0550-585-832. All right, now, for those of you who are going to do this, and we ask all of you, as many of you as you can, to do this, try to email it if you can. Email is preferable because WhatsApp will degrade the quality of your video. And we want to try and show good quality videos on the screen at all times. So, yes, Hello, Mr. President is a segment that is coming up. So we're waiting for your videos. Start from today. Send us videos.
And of course, the email is hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com to send those messages in. And you know, listen, we all have issues that we want to direct to the president. And this is a great opportunity for us to hold our policymakers accountable to the kinds of problems we are facing. For instance, all throughout the weekend, I didn't have water in East Legon. And for the first time in all the years I've lived there, I had to chase after water tankers to get someone to fill my tank for me because I had run out. So you get there, and whatever amount they want to charge, you are going to pay because you are desperate. You don't have water. On the one hand, the government is saying we have free water. But if you don't have water and there's a high demand on the tankers, you're just going to pay. That's not the time to say, hey, the water is supposed to be free. So, you know.
If you like, say it, you'll go without water.
You'll go without water. So, Mr. President, how do we address this free water issue if Ghana Water Company Limited is not going to give us water and we're going to have to run around looking for water? Because I kid you not, Saturday night, I was like, I wish I had constant water and I just pay myself without this free water issue and I don't have water. So voice out whatever frustration you're feeling directly to the president, and we'll be playing those videos live and reading all your messages live on Breakfast Daily, Wednesdays at 9:30.
Yeah. Remember, 3 p.m., we have the COVID-19 special coverage here on City TV. Don't miss it. All right. Thank you. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Jifa Ekia Amatam. Thank you so much for staying with us. Do enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you 7:30 tomorrow. But for now, let's enjoy some more of Harry King.
So this is a song that tells you that no matter what you're going through, you shouldn't worry, but you should learn to talk to Jesus. He's the solution to the world. I want to encourage you that no matter what you're going through, He will see you through. Don't you worry, don't you cry, tell it all to Jesus, even when it hurts so bad. Trust in God, help is on the way. Let me take it again. Say, don't you worry, don't you cry, tell it all to Jesus, even when it hurts so bad. Trust in God, help is on the way. So listen, say, Ehumbetu asochibebo oha beba nasuminia memo. If we say denara, minim says merepa beba. I'm speaking to you. Don't you worry. Listen. Ehumbetu asoche bebo o how beba nasuminia memo. If we say ayadea, meaning says merepa beba. And there's the chorus, it says, men can chobia kanini na che Yesu onu kuto obetu ni ajiwo free water for say. Hey, men can chobia kanini na che Yesu onu kuto obetu mi ajiwo free water for say. Obedi wonyama sansu ebu abem kache Yesu. If we say edenara, minim says merepa beba. Listen, yenya meno odimre ne yena dio. Se umre maya to was you catch your soul. If we say minim says merepa beba.
As nations around the world race to find ways to combat COVID-19, many are struggling to secure the necessary tools and alternative solutions needed to fight the spread of